At the Gamma Expo Trade Fair in April 2023, I got to play demo games of Tokaido Duo, a two-player game by Antoine Bauza and Funforge that is being distributed in the US by Flat River Group, which was running the demo sessions at Gamma Expo. That event is an industry-only affair that is open to distributors and publishers and media and retailers. Retailers are the prime audience at Gamma Expo because they're trying to see what's hitting the market in the near future so they know what to order in advance and what to look for when their customers are asking for it. You want to stay on top of those things, know what's coming out so you can recommend titles and make deals with publishers. Maybe you're buying direct from them instead of going to a distributor. Lots of publishers from outside North America show up because they're trying to license games one way or the other, either to North America or from North America, whatever the case may be. Lots of industry stuff going on there. And they have demo nights where you get to try out upcoming games. So sat down for a game with a random retailer, wanted to learn it, and I crushed them. It was pretty severe. Guy said, okay, I got the idea, left. I was curious to try again because that seemed unusual. Another retailer sat down and I crushed him too. And I got a little worried because it seemed unusual for a game to be this out of balance. How could I have won so handily twice in a row? I'm a new player. That player's a new player. What was going on there? I asked for a demo copy because I wanted to explore it more. I've now played 5 more times against 3 different opponents other than those first 2, so 7 times total. And the game is much better once you actually know what you're doing. Let me show you how it works. Here are most of the components in Tokaido Duo, with each player having 3 figures and a corresponding board for each of those figures. I'm showing only one set of figures because you don't need to see both of them in order to understand the game, and it lets me show things larger. You have an artist, a merchant, and a pilgrim, and you are going to move them about the board to score points. And when any character in the game maxes out on points, you finish that round and then see which player has the most points and wins. On a turn, the active player rolls the 3 dice. There is one that corresponds to each of the figures, artist, merchant, and pilgrim, and the values range from 1 to 3, 1 to 3, and 1 to 4. The active player chooses one of these dice and moves that figure exactly that many spaces and then takes an action with them. So if I take the pilgrim, the next player chooses one of these 2. Whatever they don't choose, I get as the active player, and now the other player will be active player. So each round, you're going to take 1 or 2 actions depending on who rolled the dice. The actions available to you. Well, the artist moves in these 8 spaces on the board, and when they move, they do one of 2 things. If I move the artist 1 space, I can go here. I can see how many figures are in the perimeter around me. We got 2 figures around here. They inspire me and I paint 2 paintings. So however many figures are there, you flip over that many tiles. That's one of the things that the artist can do. Here, I flip nothing, nothing, nothing. Don't go there. That's a terrible idea. But I could go here on the first turn, flip 2. Now that I have these paintings, I want to give them away, to share beauty with others. But you must share them in order from top to bottom, left to right, just as you flip them. So this shows a waterfall. There's 2 waterfall spaces on the board, and then a mountaintop that is here and here, and so on. So if I move to the waterfall here or here on my next turn, I give this away. And now my artist will score me 2 points. And if I give this away, I now score 4 points. And I can't give this away until I flip it. So you want to keep flipping and giving stuff away in order to score points. The merchant picks up goods at the central villages and then sells them at the shops on the perimeter. So the merchant also has 2 actions, just like the artist. You can move to the center, and whatever the number is here, 2, 3, or 4, you draw that many goods tokens from the bag. There are 4 types of tokens. I draw 3, not 4, and then put them on my board. I can hold 5 tokens at most. On a future turn, maybe I will visit this merchant here, and I can sell the dolls for 3 coins each. I can sell the kimonos. They are always worth 4. But the pottery has variable value, 4 and 3, the fans 3 and 2. Whenever you sell something, it goes back in the bag and you get coins. So I would get 6 coins, and when you have 10 coins, you convert it to one of these markers and put it here. Now I have 5 points. Get another one, I have 11, and so on. You can max this out at 45. Okay, that's how the merchant works. You're going to move to the villages to get stuff, and then move to the perimeter to sell stuff. The Pilgrim works as in Tokaido, where they circle the perimeter of the island. So whatever they land on, they're going to take that action. If you land on a red space, you move up your marker 1. You land on a green space, you move that marker 1. And their points from the Pilgrim is this number multiplied by this number, 4 points. So if I max out all the green, that's only 12 points. That's not that good. You want to get both of them pumped. So the maximum you can get here would be 48 points from 8 and 6. Additionally, the Pilgrim has a few other spots. You have the stores. Whenever the Pilgrim lands in a store, you get that much money. I'm not sure what the Pilgrim is doing there to get money. I guess begging, trying to get something. Okay. You have the spot here, which gets you this token. On a future turn, you can spend this token and redo the die action, whatever you just did. You can't use it the turn you get it, any other turn after that. But if the opponent then claims this token by landing on this space, they take it away from you. So you don't want to hold on to it too long without using it. You also finally have these spots here, the hot springs. When you land on hot springs, you take one of the bonus tokens, which affects your characters. So with this token here, I can move the Pilgrim the number rolled on the die or 1 less. The alternate side is 1 more. You flip these tokens at the start of play, so you randomize the bonuses that are coming out. Now you have options for the Pilgrim, which lets you land more on exactly what you want. This bonus token here, well, this side, when you flip over tiles, you get to flip over 1 more than you normally would. This one, you get to give away a painting when you start in or pass through or end your movement in the appropriate area. Sometimes it's a little difficult to land in the right spot. So here you can just be passing through the waterfall and whoosh, I guess you whip it at someone passing by. The merchant, their bonus, again, twofold. Either draw 1 extra token when you draw tokens and hold 1 more, so now you can have 6, or anytime you sell goods, you get 1 extra coin per good that you sell. All right, those are the elements of the game. A few details. Artists can occupy spaces together, that's fine. Merchants can occupy these central villages together, that's fine. But on the perimeter, they can be occupied only by 1 figure. So if the merchant is here, no one can go here and sell dolls. If I would land here, then I move to the next space. That's pretty much all the rules for Tokaido Duo, aside from little details like the artist being able to give away only 1 painting on a turn. So even if you got the bonus tile where they can walk through wherever and just give stuff away, you can't give away more than 1 painting. Or if you got multiple waterfalls in a row, 1 painting, that's it. So little details like that, but otherwise you're good to go. And it seems very straightforward. I'm going to choose a die, you choose a die, I get what's left, then you roll 3, and so on. And we just keep going. What could go wrong? What could be so horribly wrong that I could have runaway victories when I knew nothing about the game? Of course, that sometimes happens with any game that you don't know, because somehow things just come together perfectly for you and the other player doesn't stop you, or you just get dumb luck with the light dice or whatever it is. That's going to happen, but it felt weird 2 times in a row. And then the first time I played someone at my house, I had a victory as well. Not quite as much, but still a victory. And all 3 victories were done the same way. That's what really got me worried. But the main problem with the other people, that sounds weird when I say it that way. The main fault for the other players is that they were looking only at what would benefit them instead of what would benefit me and trying to deny me that benefit, Because Tokaido Duo is a 2-player game. If I can stop you, that automatically benefits me because those points are going only to you and me. And if I can turn your turn into something that does nothing for you, super. I have wasted one of your die rolls. That's all I want to do. And in all 3 of those games, I ran the merchant repeatedly, over and over again. Just pick up goods, sell goods, pick up goods, sell goods, pick up goods, sell goods. I think 2 of the games had the +1 coin per good sold, and I hit 45 points on that merchant just super fast, while the other player didn't have much, and we were flailing around with the other figures. I didn't do much with my artist or Pilgrim. The other player didn't do that great with any of the 3. It was just the merchant carrying the way. And I got really worried. But then I played for a second time with someone, and now they knew what to watch out for. And now they were looking at what I was doing and making different choices. It was much more interesting, much better when people know the rules to a game and have played once and now can play smartly. I don't know why I'm surprised to discover that, because that's what I say all the time. The first time that you play a game, you're learning the game. You're not playing, really. Technically, you're playing, but you're learning how to play. Once that's done, you now have the expectation of what to do, what will be better actions, what the outcome is, the flow of the game, how everything unrolls over time. And you'll make different choices because you can understand the impact of that a little more. And the more experience you have, the more you see that, usually maxing out at some certain points where you just don't learn anymore, but you can still play well. It's sort of like learning philosophy. I was talking about this with someone the other day, where it's very much like when you read a book from a philosopher for the first time, and often you're just clueless. I remember reading Kant in college, and I had to pace around the room because I would fall asleep. If I sat down, I would fall asleep. So I was just pacing and reading. And I'd finish it, and I'd be like, I think I've maybe got the gist, possibly, of like the core of what he was talking about. I'm not really sure. But then you read it again, and it adds another layer of understanding, and you do it again and again, and essentially it's like painting a room. Now I've got enough paint to cover the whole wall. I've got that understanding that is coating my brain. Games work the same way, where the first time you play, often it's just flailing around and not knowing what you're doing. So the other players were just letting me run that merchant all the time, rather than taking that die preventatively. Even if they didn't earn that much from it, they would be keeping me from earning a lot. And of course, if my bag is full, then I can't add any more to it. So leave me a die roll where I can only move to a village or something like that, or not be able to sell what I have. Leave that to me. But otherwise, maybe you want to take it. You have to watch what the other player is doing and adjust. It was fascinating just to see that so dramatically in this game. And now I played 7 times, just played 2 more times today. Just reinforced how good the game is once people are paying more attention and really trying to stop other people. Because in addition to the merchant, right, you can watch where someone is. Depends on the layout of the tiles too, what can be sold where. We had only one game, where the same good was the same spot on the board, right? You've got this bean-shaped island. We had 2 tiles at the end that were the same. So essentially, wherever you were in the middle or on the side, it was the same number to go to either of them. So that good was terrible. It was really hard to sell because you needed the die roll to work out more often than in other cases when the goods are in different spots, where I could sell this good on a 1 or a 3. Okay, so there's a variable board setup that also has an impact that may not be clear the first time you see it, but next time, when I have 2 goods in the same spot like that, I'll have a better idea of whether to care about that good or not. You can pull more goods than you have room for, and then you discard down to your maximum, normally 5, occasionally 6. So if you have those goods, maybe you just overfill and ditch them just because you know they're more trouble than they're worth. Some goods are more valuable. The kimonos are always 4. Kimonos are great, but there's fewer kimonos, so they're harder to get. So again, you can filter and try to get the more valuable things, but then how easy is it to sell them? With the artist, you can look and see, has someone given away all the paintings they've already made, all the works of art they've already made. Now they need to flip a bunch. So maybe you want to keep your pieces scattered out so they can only flip 1 or 2 at a time. If they can move one spot and they'd flip over 4 things at once, maybe you just want to take that artist die and deny that to them, or leave them to die only when they can't move the appropriate spot. It's all very basic stuff, but you have to pay attention to it and weigh the merit of one thing over the other. With the Pilgrim too, how valuable is it for someone to take a green space on their board when you're multiplying one thing by another? If they've only been moving up the green and the red isn't much, then every green is only worth as many points as their red. So if they've only moved the red 1 space, then that's a 2, and so each green movement is only 2 points. Big deal. Let them have a green. Maybe they're going to push it up and you'll force them to end the game with a terrible score if they max out that green column. It could happen. Or if you have all the bonuses, there's only those 3 bonuses for the 3 characters, 1 of each in the game. If you have all 3 and the opponent would land on one of those bonuses, they take 1 from you. So maybe you want to hold on to it rather than letting them get it. You're, abusing one bonus repeatedly. So don't let them have it. Take the Pilgrim die. Don't let them move there. There's all sorts of little things that go on where you can kind of map out a turn ahead of time. When you're the active player, I'm going to roll this. What can I take and what can I leave that would benefit me? Maybe I can take something and either of the 2 dice that are left are going to get me something. So I don't care necessarily what you take because I get something. And maybe I deny you something with that first die. It's all little choices, but it's good. It's good interactive play where you have to pay attention to what the other person is doing. It matters what they're doing. And so it matters what you are doing as well. That's great. And I missed that in the first times I played. So we had the runaway victory and it just looked broken because the merchant's overpowered. Ugh. That seems gross. I mean, admittedly, I thought that, but at the same time, I'm like, I have a little faith in Antoine Bauza and Funforge. I'm pretty sure they're not going to deliver a game that just doesn't work at a fundamental level or that is broken in that extreme. That's not going to happen. I still got a little worried just because sometimes you can only go with experience, what you have encountered in life. If that was that person's, the other player, if that was their only time they played this game, I don't know. They might think, is this broken? Or am I just terrible? Did I miss something? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter at all because often when you're a retailer, you're not caring necessarily about knowing how to play every game well. You just want to have some idea of the game. I worked in a game store in the early 90s, and a lot of it was having some idea of, party games you could recommend for this type of crowd or this player account or a certain event or whatever it is. You want to have some idea of what's in stock so that you can recommend things to people, because often you have people who come in or just trying to buy a gift. I want to get a game for a couple. What's going to be good? And they'd be like, hey, I played this game and it's 2 players and blah, blah, blah. And it's really pretty. It's got this art in here. And Naiad does great work. So, go with this. That's the value of a fair. If you actually want to see the value of the game, you got to dig into it a little bit more and then understand how it really works. And so there you go. 7 plays in on a review copy. I feel pretty good about the game. And I wanted to keep playing it more. Make sure I got a good feel for it because, of course, once I do a video like this, I often never touch a game again. We'll see what happens. But at least now I've got a real understanding of how Tokaido Duo works.